everybody, how's it going? I'm the Meister, and welcome back to Aubrey City in episode 14 of the series. Today, guys, we're going to be working a lot more on detailing, such as I'm doing right now. A little bit more on expanding the downtown, but not too much in this particular episode. Like I said, we're going to work a little bit more on detailing, so I'm going to be adding some cracks and crevices and all sorts of junk to our roads. Make everything a little bit more, add some character to the city. As I mentioned in the last episode, it's a little bit of a rough time for Aubrey City. The economy isn't too great. Repairs are cheaply made on the streets. And I'm going to try to emulate a little bit of Detroit-esque infrastructure, or Montreal infrastructure, because that's a lot of this city is based on Montreal, and Montreal roads are absolutely terrible. So that's pretty much the entirety of this episode. We're gonna work a little bit more on detailing some of the sidewalks of the streets as well. Add some nice props and details just to make everything a little more lively. And that's pretty much going to be it for this episode. Nothing too exciting. The next episode, I want to work a little bit more on detailing as well, but I want to add some really special details, such as some roadside parking and some parking meters, all sorts of interesting stuff. One interesting thing about this episode is I have downloaded I think it's called the Find It tool. Instead of search it, it's Find It. And what that allows you to do is to pretty much plop any building in the game, whether it's growable or ploppable. You can find it in that list. If you're looking for props, trees, all sorts of stuff, it can all be found using that tool. It's really simple to use. It makes my life a lot easier. If you want to search for a specific building, you go ahead, just type it in if you know the name of it, and you're able to plop that down. You can see me struggling here at the moment. I'm trying to plop down the tallest building in Aubrey City. I listened to you guys, and a lot of you have mentioned that the skyline was sort of flat. Everything was on the same level, and I took a few minutes to just stare and gaze at the downtown, and I kind of agree with you guys. It was a little bit stale, and I thought that it lacked that nice landmark that demarks the skyline from any other city. You know, you can just take a picture of the skyline and say, hey, this is that city. You can point it out right there. And I thought that Aubrey City lacked that big landmark that you see right here in the middle. So I don't think it's too tall. I think it fits perfectly well with the downtown. And going back to the Find It tool, I wouldn't have been able to plop this building had it not been for that tool, because this is a growable only building, and I think it's actually based off of the Canada One Center, I think it's called, in Toronto. It's the tallest building in Canada, although this is a shortened version of that, so it's not the 1-to-1 scale building. But I think it fits perfectly with the downtown. It's not too tall, it's not too short. It's a pretty distinctive building, and it adds so much character to the downtown, so I'm really happy with this. Not in this episode, but in the next one, I think I'm going to continue on a little bit more around the central business district, so the actual core of the downtown. And I've gone ahead and downloaded a mod called the Building Anarchy tool, and I didn't use it in this episode, but in the next one I will. And what that allows you to do is to plop down a building and adjust the height of the building. And here I was kind of stupid. I forgot to enable the Anarchy mod. And as soon as I plopped down that other building, it deleted the skyscraper. And this is like the 5th time that I'm plopping it down. Quite a struggle, but whatever. I get by. What was I saying? Oh yeah, about the Building Anarchy tool. So, like I said, what that allows you to do is adjust the height of a building, and what I'm hoping to do in this little corner, this little blank section that's right beside a really tall skyscraper, the ground is kind of messed up and there's no way for me to fix it, and I'm hoping the Building Anarchy tool will help me do that. At the time that I was editing this video, I didn't install the tool, so I'm not really sure how it works yet, but we'll get to that in episode 15. So about half of this episode is going to be live, the other half is fast track. I think it's better that way. Everybody seems to like a little bit of different editing styles, so I just want to make the most of you guys as happy as possible, so I think that's the best way to do that. This section of downtown, although there's going to be a lot of modern, tall skyscrapers, I want to add some history to downtown, so I'm going to be plopping a lot of shorter, older buildings. And also what's really cool is experimenting with the Move It tool paired with the Find It tool. I've learned that it's a nice, efficient way to get downtowns or any district for that matter to look exactly the way you want it. It's really useful when dealing with wall-to-wall buildings, because in some cases they won't really fit nicely against one another. So using these tools, you can sort of inch them right against each other and get the exact look you want. Although I've noticed using the Find It tool, when using the Move It tool to move growable buildings around, you start to run into these weird issues where if you move the building a little bit too far off of your zone, it'll actually disappear as soon as it's done constructing. So to work around that issue, there's a mod called the Disable Zone Detection mod, I believe it's called. And what that does is whenever you plop down a growable building, instead of disappearing whenever it doesn't detect the right zone that's under it, it just won't disappear. It's as simple as that, and I think that's a must when dealing with the Find It tool, especially when plopping down growable buildings. Just by playing with it, notice that that's probably the only workaround that works for now, because it's not really incorporated into the mod itself. Alright, so what's going on now is the Hampton Hotel is one of the nicer hotels in the city, and I want to make the detailing a little bit more luxurious around it. So I'm going to be making the sidewalk a little nicer, adding some nice bushes and trees and curbs and stuff around, because as I've stated before, not all of Aubrey City is a big trash bin. Alright, so we're done with the Hampton Hotel, and what I'm going to start working on in a couple seconds is I want to make this large parking lot that's sort of in the back of downtown. You'll find that in a lot of American-style cities, where within the downtown itself, all the buildings are really near and close to each other, but then you'll have these empty lots that were converted into parking lots, and that's what I'm going to try to do here. So typically these sorts of parking lots don't belong to a certain building or a certain property. They're businesses within themselves. They're just these random parking lots downtown where you have to pay a fee to park. So that's what I'm trying to emulate here. And there's a asset that just came out not too long ago, which are these little toll booths to get into the parking lots, and those are really neat. It saves me from having to use the default train gate things, which are included in the game. They look pretty ugly. So these ones are a lot better. You guys probably find that I'm all over the place while playing City Skylines. I never work on one thing for more than a few minutes, and I move on to the next, and then I come back to the original thing I was working on. And yeah, in a way that's true. That's the way I play the game. I sort of get bored of working on the same thing for too long. So bear with me on that, guys. Don't be surprised if in the next episode I start to work on something I've worked on in one of the last episodes. But I'd like to get those parallel parking done probably in the next episode. We're not going to finish in this episode. I'm going to get done with this parking lot, and we'll move on to the next episode after that. So yeah, what I'm doing now is just creating a little maybe staff parking lot in the back of the hotel. I'm not really sure what it is, but I guess that's what we can say it is. So for the Hampton Hotel, I've actually done something pretty interesting using the Move It tool, and I've combined multiple buildings and just smushed them together, and made that as if it was just one big hotel. As you can see here, the taller skyscraper is directly connected to the Hampton Hotel, so you can maybe say that that's part of the actual hotel. I think it looks pretty cool too. Using the Move It tool, it's probably one of the most important mods that are out there right now, just because it's limitless what you can create with that. Now for the next little while here, I'm just trying to figure out what buildings I'm going to plop in this empty area. I want to make them so they're not, the buildings are not so connected together. I guess they're not going to be wall-to-wall buildings. They're going to be spaced out a little bit more, because we are getting a little bit more out of downtown. And right here I just found a pretty neat building that I like. I think it's a vanilla building actually. But anyways, as we move out of downtown, the northern part of downtown, I want to make it so everything's a little bit more spaced out, a little bit more abandoned lots and open parking lots such as this one here. Now I want to make it as if it was once a very prosperous area, and it just sort of started to get a little bit run down. That's the feeling that I want to get with the northern part of downtown. But I also want to include a lot of the civic buildings, such as somebody mentioned in one of my earlier videos, where you're going to have like your bus stations, or like your police headquarters and all that sort of stuff. I want to make it in that sort of area. So we'll see in the later episodes how all of that's going to transcribe. When I make these videos, a lot of planning goes into it, so a lot of times I'll actually end up plopping a few buildings just to see how everything's gonna look whenever I actually make these videos. So I'll do like a little test district, if you will. So I'll plop down a few buildings, just get a feel for the area, and I'll say, okay, nope, this is going into production. I'll destroy what I created and I'll just recreate it again, but this time I'll film it. So that's a little bit a time-consuming process, but I think it delivers a lot more, a lot better quality video because everything's all planned out, and I'm not just fumbling around with buildings and testing what's trying to try to fit different buildings in a certain area. Alright guys, so we're pretty much done the parking lot, and I'm super happy with the way it turned out, especially with these large decals. It was really easy to make these realistic sort of marks and stuff that you would find in parking lots from, you know, kids doing burnouts at night and all sorts of shenanigans like that. And it's pretty easy to represent that with all these extra decals that you can find on the workshop. I mean, there's so many of them now that, you know, it's just endless what you can create now. So yeah, I mean, I'm super happy with what we've done today. I would have liked to get a little bit more done in this video, but unfortunately I haven't had too much time to play in the last couple of weeks. And there's a reason for that. I have a pretty big announcement. Well, it's not a big announcement, it's just an interesting announcement to make to you guys in the next episode. So I'll save that for episode 15. So for episode 15, I'm not too sure what I want to do yet, but I think I'm just going to work on expanding the downtown a little bit more. So plopping down some infrastructure, some more buildings and stuff. And what my game plan is for the rest of downtown, I think what I want to do is take a whole episode for expanding the downtown. So like I said, just building infrastructure, and then an episode later work on detailing that infrastructure that I've built. So this episode, for example, I guess I did a little bit of both. I expanded it a little bit and mostly added some details. So I think that's a pretty good strategy for developing the downtown. So you guys are probably going to see me working on multiple areas, in older areas that we've already built up in past episodes, just to add some more detail to those. So yeah, I'm looking forward to continuing the series. I'm loving the way that Aubrey City is developing. I think it looks awesome. We focus a lot of realism, like I say in every episode, and so far I think we've delivered some pretty good results on that. I mean, it looks like a perfectly normal American city. So before we end the episode, I just want to thank you guys so much for your support and for watching my videos and subscribing. It means a lot to me, and mostly for letting me know your ideas and what I should incorporate in Aubrey City in future episodes. I really appreciate that, guys. We're starting to grow a really good fan base around Aubrey City, and I love it. So with that being said, guys, as usual, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, smash that subscribe button, because I got a lot more content on the way. And until the next video, guys, take care.